Jasmium, a key component in duraluminium tier. To get jasmium, you need to head over to the Sheol, but before you go, you need to prepare a few things because this is a radioactive zone. You will need to find or make yourself a radiation suit. This will give you some really good protection against the elements. It doesn't provide a ton of armor, but it's very useful. You are also going to need a cutter ray that can at least cut jasminium. An industrial cutter ray MK4 should do the job. Now, the by far safest way to go to this biome is with an ornithopter, but it is not a requirement, and I'll show you later what else you can use. But for the safest in and out, I definitely recommend an ornithopter because it gets you in quickly and out quickly, as you will have a timer whilst you're in this zone. That timer being your radiation buff that you'll see in the bottom middle screen. Once it's filled up, it will get you to a state of imminent doom, and you'll have to flee the scene before it instantly, takes you out. Otherwise, you can hold down T to check your stats and how much time you have left if you have hit a point of all red. Either way, you want to come to this zone and look for something like this. Is these crystals that are usually suspended in a pool of green liquid. Do not touch the green liquid. It will make your radiation buff go up really fast, and you'll need to leave the zone very quickly if you do stand in the pool for too long. I'll show you a quick map location for the pool I'm at, but there are many in this zone and they're spread throughout. Now, retrieving them is not always easy because they can be really far into the green liquid. You might want to stand on other jasminium deposits to get the other ones, or some of these might be easier with a truck, which we'll go over in a bit. There's also another way I like to farm jasminium with an ornithopter, and that is to go into some of the caves, as the caves have quite a lot in them, which is really nice, and the islands with the caves also have these little pools with jasminium in them. As you can see on this island here, and this is the Cave of Wrath. Most of the big islands will have a cave on it full of this jasminium, so they are quite useful to go in. Just make sure to watch out for your buff. We're going to land in this one. We're going to go head inside, and I'll show you what I mean when there are caves full of it. There also is this green gunge down here you still need to be careful of. What I can highly recommend to avoid this is either have the grappling skill from the trooper tree, or you could equip yourself with a really good suspensor belt. I have the full control one. It is absolutely legendary to have this one if you can make it, which you should be able to by this tier. But yeah, you can literally come over here, come down here and farm some jasminium as well. There will definitely be enough to fill you up and then go back and drop off in your ornithopter. But you might have noticed the problem with the ornithopter is it doesn't have a lot of inventory weight. Even the assault doesn't have that much. I mean, it has a lot more than the scout, but it definitely isn't as much as the buggy. Yes, you can drive a buggy into the radiation zone and get an absolutely metric ton of jasminium. And by a metric ton, I mean a lot, because we literally got 6,249 jasminium from one single run. This can be done solo or with people. Of course, with people it will make it a bit quicker, but you have time either way. So if you're using a buggy, you want to use this crossing point to get over into the Sheol. Is my favorite crossing point and probably the safest out of the lot. You could also use the islands up by Misa Taril as well, but it is a bit longer of a drive from island to island. The only thing with this point is it is downhill, but what must go down must go uphill. But you should have enough time to get past. I've done it multiple times and been totally fine. Just make sure to keep an eye out for the worm. You never know where he'll be lurking, and if he's recently popped out, you might want to wait a little bit and then go down. Yeah, it's a really solid spot. You can go against the land. If you're worried about the PvP, you can use other islands as safety nets to drive island to island. You can actually drive across a reasonable amount of sand before the worm gets angry at you. And remember, you'll always have the warning sign the worm will show you first before it does act on any of its violence. Unless you have a lot of people in the area, then that might impact that. But yes, I'm going to show you this route we like to go on and go through the jasminium zone, and we go out to the other side. There is this really cool, in the far corner, point where you can rest at and refresh your radiation buff, which makes it really nice. So what I mean by that is it refreshes your buff so you can re-enter and spend even more time in the jasminium zone after waiting there for a little bit. So I'm going to let it play out so you can see where we go, and then I'll meet you there and start talking again once we reach that point. I also do pick up a shipwreck in this one. We absolutely had to. The shipwrecks are really good in the Jasminium zone in the Sheol because, well, they give some really cracking unique blueprints if you get lucky. Make sure your buggy has a good enough drill to farm Jasminium, by the way. You can check the details on the drill, but I believe you're going to at least need an MK5 drill to do this. This is actually not a radiation zone, so you can cool off your buff here and reset it and then go and farm some more Jasminium if you haven't quite got a full load. So far with the farming we've been doing, we've got quite a decent amount if you come and have a look. We are about at 4,556 Jasminium in the back of our vehicle storage, which is really good, so we don't actually have that much more farming to do out here. Alrighty, that's a full load. I'm just checking if the worms around here, and we're gonna go up the hill onto the other side to safety. That's a full farm of jasminium, so it's very useful, and you can see we're going up the hill. Of course, you're gonna go a bit slower uphill, so you want to make sure it's nice and safe. Avoid the drum sand to the left. And on this occasion, and the previous occasion I did, we didn't get a worm show at all, but we did hear it this time around, so it was coming. So yeah, very handy. You get the jasminium, you get loads. You're gonna need it when you get to this tier because a lot of items use the duraluminium. And this makes it a lot easier and a lot less of a headache when it comes to farming duraluminium, because you're gonna need a lot of this stuff. Jasminium is really heavy, and it saves you from doing many trips in your ornithopter. Coming home, you can see how much we can craft as well, so I'm putting a whole bunch on. I'm actually going to split it between our different mining refineries. You can see a bit there, and we need some more aluminium. We got so much jasminium, so yeah, really good farming. But either way, I hope this video helped you out today. Get some really good jasminium. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.